above parts of Canada at this time. Currently about 76 meters away from the station, closing in at a rate of about 0.3 meters per second. We expect docking to be in about 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Giving us a contact and capture time of around 6 a.m. Central Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Time this morning. Now only 40 meters away from the International Space Station, closing in at a rate of 0.3 meters per second. And just under a minute from waypoint 2 arrival. And we are 20 meters out from station, and we have arrived at waypoint 2. Dragon is currently in a hold position at waypoint 2. Again, holding at waypoint 2.
Houston Station, report on step 4. Dragon mode is hold. Range is 20 meters. R dot is very close to 0. And attitude is beautiful.
Beautiful is what we like to hear, Mike. We copy and see the same. We are holding here at waypoint 2 to assess our retroreflector.
Station copies.
NASA astronaut Mike Fink reporting a beautiful alignment of Dragon at its waypoint 2 hold. Again, that is our final stop, just or 20 meters out from the station. At this point, teams here on the ground and on the station are verifying that the alignment of Dragon is correct to dock to the station. Called CHOP, or the crew hands-off period. You hear the ground tell this to the crew, telling them not to send any more commands at that point. And we're just the uncrewed cargo Dragon has been making slow and incremental movements towards getting closer to the International Space Station. Now we're seeing it from one of the external cameras as the station.
Houston Station, crew hands off point, stop.
Copy, hands off.
And we just had chop, and we're under 2 meters away from the International Space Station.
Station Houston on 2 for Dragon. Dragon contact and soft capture complete.
Station copies.
And we have contact at 6:05 a.m. Central Time, 7:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Dragon and the International Space Station were flying above the Ivory Coast of Africa upon contact and capture of the Dragon spacecraft to the International Space Station. The capture ring on Dragon will now interact with the International Docking Adapter on the Node 2 forward port of station to get the initial capture. Dragon's 12 hooks, 2 sets of 6.
Dragon, ring retraction in progress.
Station copies. Good news.
And you just heard the teams here, Capcom, tell the crew that the soft capturing is retracting. It will retract until sensors indicates it's time for hooks to drive in place to give us a hard capture and firmly secure Dragon to station. And we did have that soft capture at 6:05 a.m. Central Time, as Dragon and the International Space Station were flying above the Ivory Coast of Africa. We will continue to provide coverage until we get past a hard mate with the International Space Station. After that soft capturing is fully retracted, pulling the Dragon in for that nice tight seal, there's 12 hooks that will actually hard mate and hard dock the vehicle to the and we just have confirmation that the first set of hooks have closed and we are driving the second set. Again, we have confirmation of the first set of 6 hooks are closed and the other set of 6 hooks are driving currently. We're looking for all 12 hooks to be latched and closed for a hard mate from the Dragon spacecraft to the International Space Station.
Station Houston, Dragon is now.
Is now aboard, and also we totally very much appreciate the resupply. And good job to the team, and let's go get it.
Thanks, Mike, for those kind words. Give us a few minutes to reconfigure ISS, and we'll get you started in your next activity.
Copies. Lots of clapping on board.
And we just heard confirmation of hard capture complete, and then some happy words from the Capcom, Costa Marfridas, again telling the crew that we had a successful capture and docking of the Dragon to the International Space Station. Again, now that we have a hard mate of the Dragon to the space station with its vacuum tight seal, it will then go on to be pressurized to match the same pressure station, pausing periodically for leak checks at the forward port of the Harmony module. Once it is pressurized, the crew will be able to open the hatch on the station side and the Dragon side, and then begin operations to unload the cargo, which will currently be timelined for about 2 hours from docking. A couple of umbilicals will also be deployed to get power and data from station to Dragon. This will move Dragon into what's known as its acquiescent mode, essentially becoming an integrated piece of station once docked. Contact and capture docking took place at 6:05 a.m. as the space station was flying over the Ivory Coast of Africa. It's been quite a journey since launch at 1:45 a.m. Central Time, 2:45 a.m. Eastern Time, early yesterday morning. CRS-33 completed its trip to the International Space Station, making contact at 6:05 a.m. Central Time. At the time of docking, the space station and the Dragon spacecraft were flying over the Ivory Coast of Africa. And now, with the Dragon now safely aboard the International Space Station, that concludes today's rendezvous and docking coverage. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Mission Control Houston.